Welcome back to the special coverage of the 2023 Presidential and National Assembly elections. Well, joining us now to review some of the headlines on today's newspapers from around the world is ThisDay Executive Director and Ombudsman Kayode Komolafe. Kayode, Mr. Komolafe, you've been here with us the whole time.
He's been here with us, exactly.
I'm excited that we are doing the newspapers today because obviously there'll be a lot of stories.
Absolutely.
It's important.
All right, so let us roll, as always, with our sister publication ThisDay on Sunday, where the lead story says, Atiku, Tinubu, Obi, Kwankwaso optimistic as INEC collates final poll results. And the writers here say, Labour Party supporters shock Lagosians with impressive early results. Polls witness good turnout, late arrival of materials. Buhari vote for Tinubu, displays his ballot paper, which everybody saw yesterday. And on top of that lead story is the strip. EFCC arrests lecturer with 306,700 naira. Woman with 18 PVCs. On top of the masthead, pockets of violence rock Lagos, Bayelsa, Edo, Kogi, others. And the story on the window, in post-election interview with candidates, Tinubu says he's waiting to rework Nigeria. And the writers, Obi expresses worry over missing LP's Labour Party's logo on ballot papers. Kwankwaso decries Beaver's failure, absence of party's name on ballot. Those are the stories, of course, with the pictures of the four leading candidates, Atiku, Tinubu, Peter Obi, and of course, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the strongman of Kano politics. KK, those are the stories from today's ThisDay newspaper.
Yes, Steve, no doubt. Whoever is announced the winner of the presidential election in particular, because again, we must also emphasize this. What took place yesterday was not just only the presidential election. You also have many people who be declared senators elect, and members of House of Reps elect in the legislative election. Also very important because you're talking of the election into another arm of government, which is as important as the executive arm, which the president will. So we must not forget that. We must not forget that also yesterday you have elections to the national for the members of the National Assembly, which are also very important elections. Of course, you will know that from the respective constituencies, that they are also as contentious, But talking about the presidential election in particular, whoever is declared the winner, must really have earned the victory, because all of them, they have run, a good race. A lot is put into the, and when I say all of them, not just the major, the frontline candidates, as displayed on the front of ThisDay. Even other ones that have not been given so much of media attention, they've, put in quite a lot of efforts, in selling themselves, And when you look at the, we are talking of INEC now in terms of logistical issues, And this is a body that is financed from the public treasury,
Yes.
But imagine that the candidates, their operations have been financed from their, by their parties, from their own polls and their supporters, privately. It must also cost them a lot of money, to be able to move around, and campaign. There are some of the candidates that, despite the projections of many people thinking that some of the candidates might not be able to do rigorous campaign, but they've actually, surprised many people.
Absolutely.
Yes, ensuring that they have been to every stage of the federation, which at the beginning of the campaign, there are people who swear that some candidates will not be able to campaign. So, yes, by in practical terms, that has been disproved, with this. And so, I'm just saying this just to emphasize that a lot has been put into it, and that the campaign has been very rigorous, even though one defect that I see there, is that it's been very low in terms of actually debating issues, the campaign, policy, actually having very robust discourse policy, But in terms of mobilization of the people, we witnessed all the big rallies, like you notice that in the last few weeks, it has been a case of my rally is bigger than yours. than yours, And so to say, that you have it in every part of the country, And when you look at the constraints, the physical constraints of moving around in Nigeria, you know that it has been a lot of job,
Yes.
So to that extent, I think all the candidates should be saluted, for taking all the trouble to present themselves, for service.
Yeah.
Whatever, the outcome is, And of course, a politician is not a politician if he's not an optimist. So I say that
it's a key requirement.
Yes, especially in Nigeria context, you must be an incurable optimist. So the headline of this day, says it all, that all are hopeful, and I dare say that they have legitimate reasons, to be hopeful, until.
I think that's the resounding message on all the newspapers today.
Exactly.
But I also wanted you to touch on this story. Obi expresses worry over missing LP logo. I know you saw that story trending yesterday, where the LP logo was missing in the House of Assembly and also the senatorial.
But Senate and House of Reps.
Yes, House of Reps, correct. I want to read a comment that I got regarding that particular incident. This person says that, the obedience are up in arms, they are upset about the logo, but an INEC official had explained that the LP logo actually has the Labour Party has no candidate for, in a lot of the federal constituencies and senatorial districts, and that primaries for Senate and House of Rep and State Assembly candidates had taken place long before Peter Obi decamped to Labour Party. And also, so it was too late for the party to suddenly come back and submit names of candidates for those elections. We had...
that's not from INEC.
No, the INEC official had said that LP had no logo. But I'm just telling you a comment somebody had...
Comment.
Yeah, just a comment from, a viewer. But we had an analyst here earlier talking about the fact that should that be INEC's concern, why will INEC decide to just omit the logos on the ballot papers?
This is purely a technical question for INEC. We must be very careful about it. I imagine that the Labour Party, as a party, not just Peter Obi's campaign, will have to take up that one, legally with INEC and demand, an explanation,
Yes.
What I'm saying is that we should tread carefully is that it's a thing that possibly could become a matter for litigation.
Yes,
and
that's what it appears would happen.
Therefore,
obviously.
if we are not having a full grasp, of the facts, of the matter,
the issues are,
so we should not be hasty in passing judgment. So all I think that should be said now is that it's a thing that INEC should look into, and also the public, not just even Labour Party, demands satisfactory explanation of what has happened. If an error has been committed, is there a way it could be corrected? If it is not an error, then there must be convincing explanation that has been done to the Labour Party. That there should be fairness to all the parties. So I think it's assumed that INEC is aware of it, and that Labour Party, as a party, will take it up with INEC.
I also wanted you to comment on the story on the window in post-election interview with candidates. Tinubu says is waiting to rework Nigeria. There are issues all over the social media after the press conference by the candidate of the APC, and people are expressing the views that what he said amounted to campaigning while the election was going on, while voting was still on, that what candidates are expected to say normally on an election day is to comment on how well the process has been organized or if there are issues, but then to restate what they think constitute a campaign or your intentions on what you will do, which might, one way or the other, influence voting that was still going on. That possibly, runs contrary to the letters of the Electoral Acts. What will be your thoughts on that?
Okay. Again, we should be very careful. I'm not a lawyer, No, I'm not. Yes, I'm not a lawyer. This is a legal issue. But as a reporter, and also who has been interested in the coverage, of this process.
Yes.
What the law says is that you should, at the vicinity of voting, at the polling booth, that is where you should not continue with campaigns. That is, nobody should go. That is why every candidate going to vote, I'm sure yesterday must have been very careful not to wear any emblem or anything. Or maybe somebody is about to go to the polling booth, they are still canvassing, but please, don't forget, vote for my candidate, or the candidate himself saying so. This famous interview that you are referring to did not take place at the polling booth where Asiwaju voted. Asiwaju voted in Ikeja. The interview, Arise at that interview, took place at his residence.
Okay, so it has to be a statement made at the polling unit.
Yes, it took place at his residence and post balloting interview. It's common. There's nothing that's wrong with it. Like
Arise took a stance yesterday saying that none of the candidates did anything to contravene the Electoral Act. All right,
all of them granted interviews after balloting, and it is done. There's nothing.
Absolutely.
We have the correct ThisDay newspaper right
yes,
there.
Yes, on the screen. Okay.
Candidates. All right.
Any other story that we missed out? Pockets of violence, rock Lagos,
why don't we?
Edo?
Correct. Why don't we touch? Why don't we? Pull up the Punch newspaper, the Sunday Punch.
What are this style? I'm surprised Oji is.
Oh, ThisDay style. Are we covering ThisDay style?
Oji is not talking about style.
Yes, why not?
Life is not all about politics.
Well, I don't know if we have this
so for Oji today, it's all politics.
Politics, why not? Can we excuse ThisDay style today?
I say it's all politics for Oji today. That's well taken.
All right.
Political genius.
Okay. That's just for you to say.
You are not saying that Oji is involved. Okay. I'm sure you are not saying that.
Okay, let's pull up the Sunday Punch newspaper. The lead story there. Killings, beavers, ballot box snatching, mar polls. The riders there. Pregnant woman, others killed in Rivers, Kogi, Jigawa. Thugs destroy ballot boxes in Edo, Ogun, Lagos, Katsina, FCT, and others. 15 arrested in Katsina. INEC postpones poll in Bayelsa. I believe we've touched on all of these, but like I said earlier, these reports of violence is all across all the papers today. And above the masthead there, Atiku, Tinubu, Kwankwaso, Obi winning polling units, boast of victory. We'll discuss that as well. Then another story, senior lawyers condemn Buhari's open display of ballot paper. I don't know, did we touch on that earlier with Mr. Komolafe? Not yet.
No,
it was Mr. Ifeanyi. I want us to touch on that really quickly. Okay. I don't want you to say you are not a lawyer, because I know that you saw that it was not only Buhari that showed his ballot paper. It was also the Attorney General of the Federation. Help me out.
The president, in my own non-legal view, has done nothing wrong.
Okay.
He has acted a good party man. He is the leader of APC. Mm-hmm. So yesterday, he was acting as a Buhari, the leader of APC, as a voter, and that whatever he did, in my view, it's quite legitimate. If anything at all, it should be applauded.
Oh, really?
Yes,
for being
a good party man, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Should we bring in...
Achike, your views on this particular one will be...
I just wanted, maybe before then, maybe on the issue of the violence.
Yes, I also want to say something on the violence quickly, before, if you permit,
Okay, that's
before
fine. Achike, okay, go ahead.
So that I can say the two together.
I think it's very important. Again, that should bring us back to what Steve was trying to draw attention to that. This election, is put us like all eyes are on Nigeria. And what a better way to demonstrate it that you have former presidents, taking us too seriously to have been in our midst, to watch what we are doing. So definitely, I don't think any especially Nigeria will be proud of this pockets, the dark side, of what happened yesterday. Because elections, are supposed to be festivals of democracy, it's supposed to be celebration of democracy as a routine thing, as a way of asserting the will of the people, the supremacy of the will of the people. So bloodletting, violence, should not, come into it. But again, we should go beyond moralizing, because you're not going to solve the problem by preaching a sermon, Now, this is not the first time it will happen, Following the election of 2007, many years ago, the late President Yaradua, set up the Ways Commission.
Yes.
That's a commission headed by former Chief Justice of the Federation,
yes,
Justice Muhammad Ways. One of the recommendations of that particular commission, made up of eminent Nigerians, was that you have electoral offenses, commission, Another commission again, that was set up after the very bloody 2011 election, headed by Justice Lemu, also reinforced that particular recommendation. The wisdom in that is that now, from this report now, which is the same thing if you throw back into 2019, 2015, 2011, all the previous elections, that okay, after all these killings, violence, people are arrested. You will never hear of any successful prosecution, of those who have been arrested or those who have been accused of perpetrating the electoral crime. So, and it's simply because INEC, is overburdened. Its job is just to organize election. INEC is not a security agency.
Yes,
it's not a law enforcement agency that can be able to apply itself, thoroughly to the arrest, prosecution of offenders. That is why you say, okay, that commission should be set up, and then you have electoral offenses tribunal where these issues can be dealt with. And it is when people perpetrate violence during election and they are arrested and they are punished for it, that is how you can prevent, or it from happening, or at least reduce, the incidence of violence during elections. But sadly, as we speak, after many years that the idea has been on the table, Nigeria has not been able to establish the Electoral Offences Commission, much less establishing Electoral Offences Tribunal. The last we heard of it was that the bill is in National Assembly. I think it's now waiting for ratification from the House of Reps. So this again should draw our attention that after this election, the idea of Electoral Offences Commission, should actually, be put. It should be turned into reality. That is, it should be put so that future elections, will be able to take care of it. Because all these people are arrested now. You discover that after some time, the respective attorneys general, in the various states, depending on the political interest, they will enter non-prosecution and then they will set free to wait for another season of election where they will perpetrate a crime. Okay. So that is the lesson to
absolutely.
It's condemnable.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess based on popular demand, our Sunday tonic, we cannot ignore this day style this Sunday. All right, right there we have who will be Nigeria's next first lady.
It's political. It's political.
It's political. It's beginning to download on my system right here. And right there we have the wife of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. And then we also have the wife of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Titi Abubakar. And then we also have a wife of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mrs. Margaret Obi, on the cover of This Day Style today. This is the big question here. Who is going to be our next first lady? Did we skip anybody, Mr. Komolafe?
Yeah, what of Mrs. Kwankwaso?
Mrs. Kwankwaso.
Yeah.
Mrs. Kwankwaso. I guess this is the top 3 pick that ThisDay style.
Oh, Mrs. Showore. What of Mrs. Showore?
Mrs. Showore.
Yes.
Well, we're talking about the leading candidate now. You are
Leading by your own estimation. Yes, Showore is a candidate in this election. And I know he's married because he's my friend and brother. So
okay, but now we are focusing
all the 18 candidates are married, but we're focusing on the top 3.
Oh. Absolutely, we are focusing on the top.
You are excused.
Presidential. I mean, these women have displayed so much support for their husbands throughout the campaign season. They have displayed their style as well, especially, you know, talking about, you know, their support for their husbands.
Yes.
We see Margaret Obi. Or at first we didn't see her. You remember at the beginning of the campaign season, she was, you know, she wasn't so she wasn't out there. She wasn't out in the field campaigning with him. At least, I think even at one point she was saying she wasn't granting interviews until, you know, we began to see her. I think I saw her at first in Akwa Ibom, her home state. I believe we saw her there. Do you remember that rally? Yeah. And she was so beautiful there. She talked about, you know, she was canvassing votes for her husband and speaking in her language as well. And also, we've seen
she's been everywhere after Akwa Ibom.
After Akwa Ibom, yes,
and
that's what I mean.
One good thing about her is the fact that she seems to gel very well with the wife of the vice presidential candidate of Labour. You know,
beautiful
the wife of,
to see.
absolutely, the two of them. You know, they kind of look like twins.
Yes.
You know, and then lovely. The two of them.
And then we see Titi Abubakar. I've seen her campaigning in.
Yes, campaign vigorously.
Igbo. Like, did you hear her?
Yes,
her campaign
I
in
heard
Igbo.
her in
I thought
Igbo.
that was beautiful,
Absolutely.
and she did an amazing job, you know, campaigning for her husband.
Yes.
And obviously, Oluremi Tinubu, she's been out there campaigning. You know, she's been talking to women. She's been talking to people with disability. I mean, these 3 women are a force to reckon with. That's my take on that, on this stunning cover, Mr. Komolafe.
Yeah, on a serious note, I agree with you that one of them will be the first lady.
Yes. All right. Okay.
Atiku, who's your first lady?
Well, I think in the next few days,
you will know.
It will be obvious. Yeah. Again, you know, they also bring in their own style, their own panache, you know, in government.
That's right.
I know that late Gani Fawehinmi had issues with them because he believed that they did not have any constitutional responsibility, you know, to access public funds, you know, to do whatever, you know, they wanted to do with the monies and all that. So it has been, you know, a topic for debate over the years. But we've always had flamboyant first ladies.
That's right.
You know, and powerful ones too.
Absolutely.
You know, I keep on telling people that I would prefer to offend the king than to offend the wife of the king.
Absolutely.
So that has very serious implications.
Every wise person must know that.
Must know that.
All right. So.